Evening everyone, we thought you would like to come and join us here in the New Forest for our evening walk. At this time of year it's really important that people stick to footpaths and the main paths through the forest so as to allow the ground nesting birds to nest in peace. This year the birds have nested everywhere and so it's particularly important this year, and it's a really good idea to keep your dog on a lead. And you can see across the bog to the woodland beyond, and you can see a very clear line at the bottom of the trees, and that's called the browse line, and that's the height at which the ponies can reach and the deer. And so it means that our woodlands in the New Forest have a very open aspect. Lots of light gets to the forest floor, and we get lots of lovely plants, but particularly lots of lichens and mosses and liverworts growing on our woodland floor. The ponies graze the lawns, they browse the heather, and they browse in the woodlands. And there are many species of plants and insects that you only find here in the New Forest, and it's because for hundreds and hundreds of years commoners' animals have grazed the forest and the wildlife has evolved with it. So our walk has taken us now to the bog. It's a typical New Forest valley mire. You can see that the ground falls away down to its lowest point, and this bog holds a huge amount of water back in the forest, and eventually it will flow all the way out to the Lymington River. And you can see that the cotton grass is really starting to come out. Although it's very wet and very deep, and we would not walk out there ourselves, the ponies and the cattle know where to go, and they graze these bogs. And as a result, the millennia grass doesn't really get hold, and the sphagnum mosses and all the associated plants really do well here. We love coming down here to the bog in the evening. We hear the cuckoo, we sometimes hear a lapwing, and the snipe we hear, and on summer evenings we also hear the nightjar. There's lots of skylarks about at the moment. It's a really fabulous place for birds. We get hobbies, goshawk, kestrels and sparrowhawks that we see on a very regular basis. Commoning is an ancient farming system practiced all over the world, and whilst our commoning practices in the New Forest are fairly unique to this place, there are commoners across Great Britain. There are commoners in Dartmoor, in the Lake District, Minchinhampton and Rodborough Commons. There are lowland commons, upland commons, and commoning contributes massively to the wildlife and biodiversity of this country.
I don't know if you can see it, but hidden in there is a spider, and it's created this fabulous funnel web just in the wet lawn next to the bog, and it's just waiting for an insect to come along, ready for dinner.
So one of the lesser known facts about the New Forest is how clean the waters are and how good the fresh water is. So as a result, we've got some really fabulous species in our streams and our rivers and in the bogs. And you can see here, this is a spring, and you can just see the water bubbling up, and this is feeding the bog. And the bog is like a massive sponge, and it holds the water back all summer, and it just trickles out of the bog and feeds the rivers right through the year. So whilst it's been a very dry spring and the lawns haven't really started to grow yet, these wetter areas are really important for all the wildlife to find some nutrients. And this little spot is one of my favourites. We've got lots of really lovely plants here. And just coming here are some more of my favourites. These are bog asphodels. And I'm sure, like you, you've got your favourite spots and your favourite plants that you go and look for. I come and look for these every time I pass, and as they grow and flower, it sort of marks the passing of the days and the passing of the weeks and the seasons. And amongst them you can see the sundew. Oh, I think that one's caught a fly. Can you see? It's an ant. Everywhere we've been tonight have been these incredible little micro moths, really tiny, really difficult to identify, but beautiful nevertheless. And this is called cuckoo spit. Perhaps you could do some research and find out which creature is hidden safe inside there.